had so many comments about our ad that we did on WSFA TV, and went all over Alabama and South Alabama, wherever. And I had a lot of comments about it, but people don't realize it that you and I were sitting in the cab, and it was all ad lib. I mean, it was just the way we were talking.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't anything that we
was
were trying to produce. It was just something that came out of our mouth.
Yeah, and it was the, and you was excited, and I was excited to show you. And I'll be honest with you. Let me say, I've never drove one of those automatic transmissions, nothing but around on the yard.
Yeah,
I would love to just carry one on the road. I mean, Terry McPherson, the maintenance director, he told me that thing will downshift, it will do everything for you. And I know
so you
fact,
don't have to be a career truck driver to learn how to drive one of these.
you gotta have
trucks.
some experience. I'm sure it comes with some experience. But they got these schools now, and I want to stress on this because I didn't know this till a month or so ago. If you go to a school and you train on automatic, make sure you get certified on an automatic and a manual. Because you go to a company like us, we got both. But we require you to have both experience because something may happen and we have to bring you another truck. We may not have an automatic truck to bring you.
No question about it. So Kenny, this weekend, he was at one of his favorite places to eat, and we had some good conversation. And the Sanders people, they're just like me and you.
Everyday people,
I mean,
hard-working people.
Let me tell you, you meet Kenny Campbell and Bobby Brown and Driscoll Colquitt, just people like that, and they're just regular guys that I've known pretty much all their lives and all my life.
It makes it easy to work for someone. If I was working in your yard, Mike, and me and you was cutting the yard.
That's right, yeah.
And I looked over there and you was sitting on the porch.
Yeah.
That would kind of slow me up a little bit. But every morning when I'm coming to this station or when I'm going to work, I see Mr. Campbell, I see Mr. Bobby, I see Terry Mack. They're going to work.
You would call it a Sanders team, and you're the quarterback. Is that right?
Everybody's going to work. We go to lunch. When you go to lunch, you see those guys. They're out having their lunch hour because they're going where? Back to work.
No question about it. And of course, Hallsteady, you have become a household word in this community. And of course, not only for your experiences and so forth, that and you're as a leader, as one of the leaders at Sanders Truck Lines. You're also active in the community. You're always doing something trying to help people, and I've heard so many things just within the last month about you.
Well, if you look at it, and I know you believe in this because I saw you do it when we had the thing for the girls at the car wash. If you believe in God, it just makes you do right.
That's right.
And you love your community and you love your town.
That's right.
And you want to do what's right. We got so much evil going on. It's just good. And that's why I like being with you, Mike. You've always, everything I ask you to do, let's do that. Let's do that.
Exactly.
Live life and enjoy. Help people.
No question about it. It's all about loving your favorite, your fellow man, and of course that's what the Lord tells us to do. And
that's right.
It's easy to do it if you've got a good heart and you've got a good disposition. Wouldn't you say?
And, I found out something about it. I'm really encouraging people like now. I look at these people that are not working, and I just look at Sanders Corporation itself. And it's something I do being in advertising. Every time I go in a restaurant or something, if it says help wanted, I just wonder why these people don't get them a job.
That's
Here's
right.
a place right here, Here's Sanders Trucking, a good place. And another thing with Sanders KW, Sanders Leg Company, they have the same benefits that we have. 401k, they match it. Blue Cross Blue Shield. Dental plan. It's all the same.
Oh man.
It's all the same. You can go out there right now and just fill an application.
Good morning, you're on Today in LA. How you doing?
Hi, morning.
Mike Amos calling in from Birmingham. Mike, Hoss Daddy's on the show this morning.
How's it going, Mr. Hallsteady?
It's going
good. You've heard that name all year for many years, haven't you?
How did you get the name Hallsteady?
All truck drivers have a CB Hamlin. That's what they just
started calling.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
I used to drive it.
Of course, Mike and John Reeves, grew up together and been close friends together. And John's told the whole story about you, and what a great athlete you were, and heck, how you've been at Sanders almost as long as anybody, haven't you?
57 years old. I'm proud to say that because God has been good to me. The only job I ever had.
The only job you ever had. Of course, you've been a good one. Mike, you see Sanders trucks. You're on the road a lot. You see them all the time. One thing you can be assured of is that they're clean. When you say that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the road probably about 500, 600 miles a week, so I see a lot of Sanders trucks. But I mean, I've seen Sanders trucks out in Oregon and Washington State. I've seen them all over the place.
That's right. You worked out in California one time, or Colorado, and
I lived out in
Portland, Oregon. And
ooh, that was a long ways more.
But he said he always made him feel good when he saw one of the Sanders trucks.
Yeah, when you live out on the West Coast, out in Oregon, Washington State, you feel like you're in almost another country. It's a whole different world out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you another thing. When you're on that road, not only do you see a clean truck, and you'll see a truck that's going by the proper mileage. That you won't see a Sanders truck going 15 miles over the limit.
No, we not even 15, not even 10. We do it by the book.
Yeah.
And we found out by the book, the driver's fresher, it's safer. And the guy told me something, I take it in my own self. If you're out there doing something bad, it's not only you affect other families.
Yeah.
Your granddaughter's out
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
My granddaughter's out there. My brother, my sister's out there. So we do it legal. We got a satellite communication. This thing will tell you when you're not, okay, it's break time.
Yeah.
Not like that. It'll go to pre-warning you.
Yeah.
You have 1 hour left. You have 2 hours.
Isn't that amazing?
That's just amazing.
Yeah.
And we go right by that.
Yeah.
You don't even have to all that writing down your log.
Yeah.
You just punch that button and it does it for you.
So how's that work? How's that work as far as a weigh station goes? Like, how many times a day do the trucks have to get weighed?
Well, you and your daddy can ask some good questions. We have what we call a pre-pass. It sits up on the dash when we go in different states, and you buy this pass. So, and you have to have your trucks at a certain equipment. You have to have a certain score. You have to have really good equipment to get this pass. And what happens, Mike, when you go through the scale, when you're coming up on it, it dings. If it dings green, you don't even go in the scale. Now, that don't mean you're going to pass every time.
Yeah.
But it means, I would say, 8 out of 10 times, you're just going to keep right on cruising.
Now, you don't see a lot of weigh stations in Alabama. Why is that?
I don't know the deal on Alabama.
Like other states, especially Mississippi and Louisiana,
Yeah, they set up, Alabama does it in a different way. They use the state troopers.
Yeah.
And they set up, they like to call it checkpoints.
Yeah.
And they're set up.
Yeah, I do notice a lot of troopers pull over a lot of 18-wheelers. I see that a lot up and down the interstates.
Yeah, and a lot of them is weighing them, and then they got the state troopers now. Just got the same car as a regular state trooper, only he's titled as a DOT state trooper.
Yeah.
So if he's titled as a DOT state trooper, he can call and do what they call a DOT inspection right that side of the road. Another thing about that, and a lot of our trucks have these, if that guy checks you and inspects you, he gives you a 30-day inspection.
Yeah.
Because the stuff he checks, it's going to take 30 days for maybe, and that looks good for you. We like to have those checks.
No question about it, no question. Another thing, if I, and you've been coming on, gosh, the last 4 or 5 months on our show, and the more you come on, the more I learn about the trucking business. But the thing that would intimidate me a little bit would be, how do they park that big rig in such a narrow space?
Well, it sounds simple, but it's not quite as simple as this. But one rule to it is, if you want the trailer to go left, turn the truck right. You want the trailer to go right, turn the truck left. Now that seems simple, but that does work.
Yeah, and you've got, and you're using, you've got the camera too, don't you? Mm-hmm. The backup camera.
No, we got the mirror. It's got the side
mirror. Okay, the mirror.
Well, let me tell you, I was at Trenum School, and we're really promoting them because they're really helping us, and we're going to try to get in that school.
That's where you get registered.
Yeah, and I want drivers that don't have a CDL to give me a call. I got a contact number that I can get you in contact with this guy. He just as bad as you want your license.
Yeah.
He wants you in his school.
Yeah.
But I was watching them back up in between them cones, and I got interested in it, and I got to watching it, and I watched this guy hit it 5 times in a row, just whoom, 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 whoom. And I say, I need him.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, you know, I used to park a boat, and I used to, years ago, if you grew up like I did, like you did, you had the FFA tractor driving contest. You know that?
Yeah.
And I joke with people, especially when I used to park my boat or back my boat in, you know, at the beach or something. I'd say, well, you would have won the tractor driving contest at the FFA. Did you have a blue jacket?
I don't know. I didn't have to do that, but I had a coach.
You wanted one of those blue jackets, though, didn't you?
Had a farm in there.
You wanted one of those blue jackets, did you?
He finally realized that I just wasn't going to be able to drive his tractor. He couldn't afford me.
Yeah.
That was fun, though.
But,
you know, people, they don't do that kind of stuff no more.
No,
I remember when we used to put the trucks in the parade?
Oh, yeah.
But
Oh, those
got
big
so
trucks.
dangerous with people jumping up.
And your big old 18-wheeler trying to turn a corner. God, you know what? Thank God, Lord, thank you that it wasn't something happened. You know,
yeah, and that's why we quit before.
Because you know, they was also letting them throw out candy.
Yeah.
And you know, they don't do that anymore. You know.
I remember the second time I did it, Mike. I got right there on the square, and I had Mr. Wiley's truck, 777.
Oh, did you? He let you drive his truck.
Me drive, and I was so excited. And I sit there and got caught up in the moment. And when I come up there to turn on the square, I hadn't started getting over them though.
Yeah.
Oh, I ain't never seen sweat pop off me like it did, because I had to literally swing out, and I had to stop. I had to stop traffic and kind of back up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And get it right. And everybody thought, "Oh, you did a good job."
Oh,
they don't know I missed it. I just literally missed
now,
it.
Now you called his truck by name. What did you? What's
that
the
was
name?
the truck number of it. His truck was number 777.
777, and of course he was a Mickey Mantle fan, I reckon. But you know, and he loved it, didn't he?
Loved it.
I mean that's what he wanted to do, and he loved it, and he saw that he could build on it, and you know, I bet at one time he knew every driver.
Yeah, and you know about that truck. We're speaking of that truck now. Even though he was the man who owned all those trucks, if he saw that truck moving around the yard, he was looking to see who was in it and what it was doing.
Yeah,
and every now and then he would run a trip on it.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that.
You know, you see those shows. I guess they're what, ice road truckers, stuff like that. I mean,
yeah.
Wally Sanders doesn't have any trucks like in Alaska or anything like that, do they?
No. And I'm glad.
the Continental 48, so no Alaska, no Hawaii.
You know what though, Mike? I got respect for a guy that'll go across that ice. I mean, he's got my ultimate respect to read that map on it. I mean, it's just, you know, if I make a bad turn in the United States, that's go next highway and turn around.
And last time I heard that Alaska was not exactly flat either. It's hilly, isn't it?
Yeah, I admire them. I watch that a lot, Mike. I watch it a lot.
But you know, for somebody that wants a job with Wiley Sanders Trucking and said, and we talked to a kid this weekend. My good, we were sitting around and we went over to a friend of mine's house and looked at all his cars. He had a bunch of Corvettes parked in his house, you know, and I was telling him, I saw a young man there. I said, I bet you couldn't drive one of those because it's standard shift. But you know, now they want you want them to be certified to drive a standard shift vehicle, which has got a clutch and got a bunch of speeds and all that. But at the same time, he's got an opportunity to ride a big rig that's automatic transmission.
Automatic transmission, the same one that me and you took our picture in, and we was looking
it doesn't surprise you though that a lot of young people do not know how to drive a standard shift vehicle.
Yeah, you know, when I was coming up, if I wanted to go somewhere, I had to go with my daddy's pickup because you couldn't mess with Mama's car.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it was a standard shift, and I just
I
had to learn.
You loved it. That 5 feet, and then now some people would prefer though 7 speeds. How many speeds?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Mike, I'm waiting to heal one. If I heal one, I'm actually gonna bring one of the guys with me one morning. But we have yet not, and I'm talking about drivers, 15, 20 years experience. They have a fit, and we don't make you drive nothing, but they have just went to them and say, take a trip, try it. We keep their truck till they go and come back. They never come back to it.
I would think it would be a lot easier
Yeah, there'd be a lot of it, but then you got people that
especially
drive.
if you're on a hilly area,
You know, I like motorcycles, and if they made automatic motorcycles, I wouldn't buy one.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, now I know the rest of the story. Hoss Daddy was at the motorcycle deal at the beach this weekend. Hey, Mike, now I know the rest of the story. Hoss Daddy was at the beach. Wham, bum, 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 bum,
yeah, I was wondering.
bum, 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 bum. Of course, if you love motorcycles, that's the place you want to be.
That's the place you want to be.
And I bet you saw a lot of guys you knew, too.
I saw a lot of Sanders trucks, too.
Yeah, I bet you did.
I saw one was parked very interesting right when you come off the back beach.
Yeah.
He was sitting right there. I watched him.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never been to this, you call it Thunder Road, or what did you call it, Mike?
It's Thunder Beach.
Beach.
It's the weekend they have down there a lot. I mean, basically, you just have to have a noisemaker to go to sleep at night.
And my place is right there in the parade route, right there at Thomas's Donuts, right there at Thomas's Donuts, and thank goodness we had it rented this weekend.
You know, I've been down there for almost 15 years now, and I've never made that parade. It starts so early, and I just don't go on vacation and get up early. I never made the parade.
Years ago, or every time we got where we don't go down there that much during that time, but it would wake you up, and then you'd hear them all night long.
All night long.
Just roaring
back and forth.
But you know what? Most of those guys are pretty good Americans.
Yes.
I always said you put an M16 on the back of all of them, that'd be an awesome looking group, wouldn't it?
You got a lot of retired Army guys.
Oh yeah.
And I just happen to watch them sometimes.
Yeah.
If somebody you get that many motorcycles, this one ain't gonna crank somewhere.
No question.
And it'll be guys that don't. I've been one of those. There was somebody be hipping me that don't even know me. Just like, you got a problem.
And you know, all of them are not just good old boys. A lot of them are lawyers and doctors and scientists and whatever. I mean, there's so many.
Are you a Harley guy?
Yeah, I'm a Harley guy. You know, I don't think they make me one kind, but that's your privilege, you know. But you know, I tell people this all the time: if you want to buy a motorcycle, this is the week to buy one. Because those people you just talked about, those lawyers and doctors,
yeah, exactly.
Some of them decided, I'm going to Thunder Beach, and they called and ordered one, and they're sitting in the garage.
Isn't that amazing?
And they either they failed or something. They decided, I'm not riding that thing no more. Get rid of it.
Or like you said, you're right. A lot of them, you're sitting there among what, 50,000?
Yeah, I would say.
You would say 50,000 people were there on motorcycles. I mean, it's just awesome. And the first thing I think about, the old days was the Hells Angels and all these clubs. And there are a lot of club guys, and they look bad, and they want to look bad and say, hey, yeah, you're right, I'm bad. They don't sound, yeah, you're right.
But you see a lot of guys, a lot of religious groups.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of guys wearing their best with certain organizations. And
they're true Americans. They're proud people,
And Sunday morning, they had prayer at a park where you could come by and they just would pray. I thought that was real nice because I think the country has got away from prayer a little bit. And I thought that was pretty nice.
You're a great example of Jeffrey Bennett, of the way we all ought to live our lives, and of course, to love one another and
that's right,
and trust in our Lord and Savior, and of course.
Looks like you had some pretty good weather down there this weekend as well. I guess it was supposed to rain on Saturday. Did it rain down there Saturday?
No, that's what I put on my Facebook last night when I got home. I told thank the Lord for a good bike week and prayed that everybody got home safe. I got down Wednesday, Mike, and it was beautiful from Wednesday. I rode down and rode back yesterday. I didn't trade.
Well, you had a good time, though, did you?
I had a good time.
And did you have
your Sanders? Off in a while.
Hey, tell me the truth, now. Did you have your Sanders truck line shirt on?
I always gave out cards too. I always had that. I probably had my belt.
Everybody knows Sanders, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean,
really, I saw some trucks down there that was parked. I didn't know the guys because I was going to take them to lunch if I'd have knew who.
And they have built a reputation of being first class. Not only the way they operate their truck lines, but the way they look, the way they act, and of course, you see that. You see that label on your shirt right there, a logo on your shirt, like that means one of the finest truck lines in America, and they want you to come to work for them. You've got $1,000 or 10 $100 bills. Are they crisp $100 bills?
You had them in your hand, Mike.
You want them to pop. Hey, you want them to pop. Yeah, he used to be a guy at the bank. You probably remember him. He make, every time he give you money, he make it pop, pop, and those crisp ones will pop. Isn't that right?
You
I know, I took and stole $1,000 from your hand when we were in that cab of that truck.
You could have kept it if you'd have signed on.
And ladies and gentlemen, of course, it is a great career opportunity. And you said something the other day, and people said, "No way, you can make $100,000 a year if you're wanting to drive." If
you want to get out there and drive, it can be done. And I can take you and sit down with you. We can show it to you on paper. What do you think about it, Mike?
For a good young guy, he can do that, can't he?
And with us, trucking is all about rolling.
Yeah, moving.
And you get these companies that when they unload, they don't move till they get another load. If we unload, we 9 times out of 10 got a load there, or got our own product somewhere we need to bring back. We need to bring back scrap plastic to the. We always got something to do.
If you're willing to work.
If you're willing to work and you got hours, you can work. Our drivers that work, and most of them all work, they run out of hours. They run out of time before we run out of work. And that's what you want.
Do you have some drivers you never see?
Some guys we never see.
You hear from them every day.
And when they truck come to the yard, it's like,
he said he's been gone a month.
John is here today. Because you know this guy.
And
he's got a reputation for just not
right.
coming to the yard. We'll get your oil changed on the road. We'll get it washed on the road.
And it's just like you're batting 400 with 49 home runs and 120 RBIs. If you're good, if you got that. Hey, you're gonna get the good loads.
So do y'all still use like brokers or people brokering loads? I mean, or is all that already done before they?
It's already done. The driver don't do nothing but deliver and look at that satellite. That's okay. We got people that just does all that. Yeah. We don't need a driver now with us, Mike. Does not even have. It used to be a day you had to go to a place. You either manually unload it, or you got out and you found what you call a lumper. Yeah. A lumper is just a guy that provides a service to unload. And what we do with that, we got a guy that's all he does. And it takes a man full time.
Oh, yeah.
And when you get there, he's already sent you a satellite message telling you who to see, and it's paid for. Yeah. They done already worked that out. All you do is say, "I'm Sanders truck number 7728. Yeah. And say, "Hey, get it Doc 2. We got you."
Now, T-Mac, Terry McPherson, who is my buddy, I've known him all my life, and one of my good friends. Now they want that truck to come in though for service, usually to Troy. Is that right?
Now, if it's major service, but just the oil change, we'll do it on the road.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
But now the guy that stays out a long time, when he comes in, now we'll go over it fine tooth and comb. Yeah. We got what we call an inspection lane. The first thing you do when you come to Troy, get out of the truck and go rest. We take it from there. We fuel it, goes into an inspection lane. You have what they call a write-up, where you write what you see is wrong with it. They check it and see what they see is wrong with it. So between the driver and T-Mac's crew, shouldn't be nothing wrong with that truck when it leaves Troy.
Does the driver drive the same rig every time?
We do not.
Or can he ask for that rig? Or
let me say this, and I'm proud to say this. We have enough equipment that if you work and you take off 3 or 4 days, you either take your truck home with you or it sits on that yard. We don't slip seat. That's what you're talking about. It's called slip seat. Yeah. That's when I get out of it, you get in it.
That's right, yeah.
We don't do that. We don't do that.
And so pretty much you can stay with the same rig then, can't you?
You stay with the same truck. Your assigned truck, 7784. That is your truck.
You got that air conditioner sitting in the right direction and so forth, and you got that TV channel on what you want to watch.
Well, I've seen guys, Mike, and it's pretty strong when you can do this. And it's bad to say, but you know, have a driver every now and then he gets sick. And he's a good driver. Yeah. And he may stay out 3 or 4 weeks. They'll keep that truck there. They may run it local, maybe the Dothan or something back. But they will not put another driver on that truck until it's absolutely necessary.
Isn't that something?
And I think that's real good because your truck, It's basically like your home.
Yeah.
It's basically like your home. You got your TV, like you say, you got your cover on your bed.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything.
Now, we're talking about television. We're not talking about television while you drive.
No, you can't do that.
You know, everybody said, hey, you make sure you tell him that we don't allow them to watch TV while you drive. But when you are stopped and you want to relax and you've got, a lot of them have refrigerators in them. They got TV and, in fact, probably have cable TV, don't they?
I think they have satellite.
Satellite. What I'm saying, satellite. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they have satellite. They're
you
really
pulled
nice.
into a truck stop and filled up with diesel, like filled up a truck. How much money are we talking about just to fill up a Wally Sanders truck?
About $400-500. Depending on how much is a gallon. I'll tell you this: our trucks hold 200 gallons.
200 gallons.
Anywhere from 200 to 250.
Now, does that trucker have to even food? All he has to do is just sign, or he doesn't have to deal with the cash.
He's got a fuel card.
Yeah, okay, fuel card.
How many miles can you go with 200 gallons?
I just get about 5 miles per gallon.
5. Oh God. Ladies and gentlemen, now you know the rest of the story. It's not cheap. I mean, what I'm saying, it costs. It's not cheap to carry freight. You know?
It's not cheap to carry freight, but we can do it.
Exactly.
We can do it, and we can pay great money. We're one of the highest paid truck lines in Alabama, among the highest paid.
Probably in the country, wouldn't you say?
And what I say about that is, you don't sit. And if you don't sit in trucking, you make money. It all boils down to what are you doing?
Yeah.
Am I driving or am I sitting at a truck stop? You know, if you sit at a truck stop, you're going to spend your money.
Yeah.
You're going to get a bag of potato chips.
Yeah, exactly.
Another hour, you're going to get
a lot of times got a good steak.
Big old boy like me, you're going to get your big
give
old
me that Hoss Daddy cut. Give me that Hoss Daddy cut. I want to meet him rare.
And then the next thing you know, you spent $75, you still ain't got a load.
Exactly. You know, something that I was going to ask you this. Of course, you've been on the road, and you know, these Sanders is well known throughout the country. Do truck drivers have mutual respect for each other?
A lot.
Now, you said that your calling was Hoss Daddy on the CB radio. You said that the radios are not very big anymore, though. Or do those truckers still communicate?
Have them, but back in my day when I was doing
that was big, wasn't
it? The CB was the thing. But, you know, it's just like everything else. You got these satellites, you got the GPS.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be a time when you'd be coming into a town, you could get on the radio and ask the driver what something was, and another driver could tell you. Nobody has to do that no more.
Where they serving at? Where they serving at the Prattville truck stop? 10-4. Give us some wording.
No, I didn't.
10-4. 10-4. Yes. This is Hoss Daddy calling. How do we look straight ahead? Do we see any?
That's what it used to be. I think you've been out there.
No.
See any bear?
Well, yeah. Are there any bears out there? Is that how we patrol the bears?
That's what it was.
But you know what?
They call a state trooper, you know, a deputy. They call him a county manager. They call a state trooper full grown.
Now I want to ask you another question. Did you actually get to know the highway patrolman, you know, on your CV, on your radio?
No, they don't.
They never communicated.
I know some highway patrolmen because I don't like motorcycles.
Oh yeah, exactly. How many motorcycles do you have?
One.
One.
I can't afford but one at a time.
Well, I know this. It's a beauty. I tell you that.
It is. I say that myself. I love it.
And, you know, I can remember Kenny and Robert Dunn and all those guys used to get on their motorcycle and go to the beach and so forth. And, you know, it still is a lot of fun, isn't it?
It's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun.
And, you know what? It's clean fun. Everybody said, oh, gosh, those guys are a bunch of outlaws. Most times they're just like me and you.
Just working people. Just working. All of them are back at home this morning. Those ones that drink are probably got a big headache this morning.
But, you know, they've been coming down all the way from Kentucky and South Carolina and Ohio. All of them all week been heading south. You know, you knew where they were going, didn't you?
You knew where they was going.
Tell us how folks can go to work for you.
They can go to work for me by, they can contact us on the website, or either they can call 1-800-633-1510, or they can personally might call me and I get you in contact with who you want to know, and that's 372-5049.
All right, if you're already certified, that means you've already gone to school, you're already approved. He's got $1,000 he's going to give you as a startup bonus. Is that right?
That is correct. $1,000 sign-on bonus, and we can hire you today.
And that's no bull, ladies and gentlemen. And another thing I like to say, at Sanders Truck Line, they're dealing. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, they're ready to roll. And now, all right, let's just say this. You've heard this show. You've heard us talk, and you hear about this being a great truck line, and they have all the benefits in the world that will go with a great job. Let's say you want a career in truck driving. What do you need to do?
You need to go. If you don't have a CDL,
don't have a license.
Don't have a CDL.
Want to start from the ground floor?
Start from the ground floor. You can call me, or you can call Trenum Tech in Montgomery and speak to the guy up there. His name is Dan. But I would love for you to call me, and I get you in with him, and maybe you'll be a recruit for us. We'll go with this process with you through the school. Let me tell you why. Because if you go through this process with the school and you sign up with Sanders Truck Line, I'm not only going to give you $1,000, I'm going to reimburse you the money that
you're going to pay for my schooling.
There you go.
You're going to give me all of these benefits, including 401k and hospital insurance and dental insurance.
And I'm going to match it dollar for dollar.
And you're going to match it dollar for dollar. And then, like you said, you're going to give me the money back that I spent for my education, plus $1,000, and I'm off and running.
Off and running.
Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, you don't just step into a Wiley Sanders truck, and they're beautiful. Now with automatic transmission, they have all the amenities and the modern as you're going to get. But you're going to have a guy that's going to ride with him. Let's just say this. You're going to be ready to drive after the training they're going to give you.
Yeah, we got a 6 month. Let me hurry up and change that. 6 weeks that you ride with somebody. But this is not just somebody you ride with. This is a guy that we've hired, and he's what we call a driver trainer.
Yeah.
In other words, he gets the best loads. He gets to go to all the places we go because he's training you to do it by yourself. Yeah. And we have a lot of guys that come in and they go through the driver training program, and they're so eager, and they be like, I want to train, but I think they have to go a little while longer. Then they make them train.
And of course, you've got questions to ask about what kind of person are you? And then what I'm saying, you're going to know that driver before you put him in on a
we know a day and time where you just got to check that. I mean, that's with anybody. You just got to check. I mean, we're gonna run an application on. And guys, ladies, slow down. I mean, a 15 mile an hour over the speed limit ticket on your license, and you trying to get a CDL, you at a brick wall.
So if you've had a speeding ticket,
I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying it makes the road hard.
Oh, exactly. I understand.
It makes the road hard.
What about like physicals and stuff like that? They have to do that before they get hired?
Oh, yeah. You're going to have a physical, and you have to have a physical every 2 years. Because there's certain things, there's certain medicines that you can't take and be on the road, Mike, and we're real careful about that.
Yeah, you have to be.
And a lot of times.
So what is it again on driving 10 hours driving, 8 hours sleep, or 8 hours driving, 10 hours sleep?
It's 10 and 8 off now.
Yeah.
You run on a 70-hour rule. It's basically how it is.
Yeah.
But it's satellite communication.
Yeah. Wiley Sanders is not going to put you behind a vehicle that costs brand new truck and trailer. What kind of money? $250,000 or what?
Probably. It's pretty high.
I know what I'm saying. They're gonna put you behind a very expensive piece of equipment. They expect you to be qualified and ready to roll.
We got a lot of freight, and a lot of it is not, like I said, we have our own freight, but we haul beer.
Yeah,
exactly. I want to trade a load of beer is
Oh, God. And how much it weighs. No question about it.
And so you got a whole trailer load of beer. We haul rice.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of stuff that's a lot of value.
Let me say y'all haul rice?
Yeah, we haul rice. We haul anything that's legal.
Uncle Ben's? What kind of rice?
I don't know what.
Ladies and gentlemen, of course, we've got House Daddy Jeffrey Bennett on our show today, as he is every Monday, and we appreciate him very much being with us. Of course, they've got great job opportunities for you right now at Sanders Truck Lines and the plastics company.
Yes, and before I leave here, I just want to re-innovate this one more time.
K&W Plastics.
K&W Sanders Lead is hiring employees.
Yeah.
Not with a CDL. I would imagine forklift driving and stuff.
Yeah.
Talk to Matt Brown.
They start off at good money per hour, don't they?
And I don't want to say because I may say the wrong thing,
sure.
but if you don't have a job, it'd be a good place to check this morning.
No
It'd be a
question
good
about
place
it.
to check.
A lot of my friends work for the Sanders companies. They're great people and they're first class. I mean, nothing but the best for folks like that. We're going to take a short break. Let's catch this real quick. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, Mike, it's Will Matthews.
Will Matthews. Well, I'm talking about Sanders Truck Lines. Have you seen any Sanders trucks on the road this morning?
Not yet. I just got on the road, but you
Good
got
morning.
Big Daddy there?
Yeah, I got House Daddy sitting right next door to me.
Daddy.
Hey, how do you like his commercials?
I tell you what, that guy he's on there now. You remember that one?
Oh yeah, no question about it.
Thank you.
And of course, he just got back from Thunder Road too. He just got back.
Down at the beach.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You know, hey, how many friends? We were talking about folks that love motorcycles this morning, and you got a lot of friends that ride them all the time, don't you?
Yeah, they're at that Thunder Beach now. There'll be 20,000, 30,000 motorcycles down there.
Probably more than that. And of course, that was going on this week. People like me and you don't need to go down there during Thunder Week, do we?
Well, Mike, I like to sit on my front porch and watch them ride by.
You're right. You're right. It's something to see.
Do you ask them to rib it up when they come by?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That roar. No question about it. Ladies and gentlemen, again, you're looking for a great opportunity, a great job opportunity. Whether it's you watching the show today or you know somebody that would be a great employee for Sanders Companies, how did they get in touch with you?
Just give us a call at 334-372-5049 or 1-800-633-15.
And believe you me, Sanders Truck Lines and the Sanders Company wants you to come to work for them today. And we appreciate you being on our show, my friend.
Thank you,
always.
It's always good to be
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, if it don't say House Daddy Jeffrey Bennett on that sign over there, you don't want it.
If it don't say Sanders Trucking, you don't want to receive it.
No
you want us
question
to
about
bring it to you.
We appreciate you very much. We'll be back after these messages.
The new Smokehouse Pizza from Little Caesars is our first pizza with 3 smoked meats. So we got barbecue champion Big Mo Queson to test it out. 8-hour smoked brisket.
Certified beefified.
10-hour smoked pulled pork.
Certified hoggified.
Applewood smoked bacon.
Certified baconfied.
Drizzled with tangy barbecue sauce plus a Smokehouse seasoned crust.
Certified smokified.
The new Smokehouse Pizza. Only $9 and only at Little Caesars.
Pizza. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Here at Town & Country, we are proud to be an American.
We've had you covered on the inside since 2005, and with our addition of Southern Grill and Patio, we now have you covered on the outside. Come see our great selection, where we make sure grilling and relaxing go hand in hand.
Here's some Napa know-how for you. Your local Napa Auto Parts store in Troy is under new ownership with an all-new fully stocked store. Big deal, you say? Big deal, we say. Like the ownership, the store has a new look, too. We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Know-how, Napa know-how.
Did you know at Wiley Sanders Truck Line that we offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer vision, we offer life insurance, cancer insurance. We also have a 401k where we match up to 4%, dollar per dollar up to 4%. We also have automatic trucks at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. If you go to a truck driving school, we'll reimburse you. And don't forget about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. Money! Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We help you save for your future.
Back to our show, brought to you by Horn Beverage Company on the bypass right here in Troy, located 3 miles south of Troy on Highway 231. And I want to say good morning to Donna and Booty and all the great folks that represent that company so very well. Will Matthews is on the phone from, are you in Dothan or Ozark?
I'm actually between both. I'm headed to Ozark to my office.
Yeah. Of course, the Matthews Law Firm has been there. I'll just tell you this: your cousin Trot was at the Jimmy Norman's place on the bypass right here in Troy, and they've got some of the best fried potato logs. You like potato logs?
Oh, yeah, I like it.
Boy, they got wonderful fried potato logs, and their chicken is wonderful. Their pork chops are wonderful. But while I was there, your cousin was there, Trot Carroll from Ozark. And so one thing led to another, and Jimmy Norman Trot was there sitting there with Jimmy Norman talking back and forth. And yeah, he says, "Oh, is that?" And he called your daddy's name out. And you know, Jimmy's been playing 4-ball golf for years and years and years, and he said, "I remember playing against them."
Yeah.
Then he said, "Didn't Will Matthews win that golf tournament down in Luverne 2 or 3 times? Is that right?"
Yeah, I won it 3 years in a row. I retired the trophy.
So you got the trophy at your house?
Yes, somewhere. Yeah, I do have it.
Why now, why, of course, now you're a good golfer on pretty much any golf course, but why that golf course? I know it's straight and long.
It was a real long course, and back in those days, Mike, I hit the ball a long way. I don't anymore.
Yeah.
But
you owned that tournament for 3 years, and actually, like you said, you actually own the trophy now.
Oh yeah, if you won it 3 times, you got to keep it.
Yeah.
So I got to keep it.
So that's so it seems like you like to go over there and play for old time's sake sometime.
Well, I hadn't been over there in several years, but it's a fun tournament.
Coach Bryant used to play in it every year, didn't he?
He did. 1 year he played. They had him paired with this preacher, and Coach Bryant had a little too much strength, but he had a very good golfer.
What now?
But somebody, he needed a ride to the airport. So the preacher told him he'd take him to the airport. Well, the preacher all during the day was telling Coach Bryant, "Boy, I love those red pants. Those are pretty red pants you got, Coach." You know, just over and over and over. And Bear Bryant got on the plane. He took the pants off and threw them on the ground. He said, "Here, you SOB, you like them better than I do."
Oh, no, he didn't say that, did he?
He did.
Oh, God.
That's a famous story from Luverne.
I know he used to play in it. He and who's the big state senator there for all those years?
Wendell.
No, not Wendell.
Well, Wendell passed away.
No, who's the other guy?
The senator.
From Luverne.
Luverne. It was Walking Wendell.
No, I know Walden Wendell was there, but there was another one there, and somebody needs to call in. And he was the one that was such big buddies with Coach Bryant, and he got him to come every year. You know, everybody had those one-day tournaments back then. You played 27 holes.
That's right.
And, of course, you know, I saw Matt McClendon, and I want to tell you a little story about Matt McClendon, too, here a second. You know, he was probably one of the best amateur golfers ever in this part of the country, wouldn't you say?
He played at LSU, and he was a great golfer.
And he later on played on the tour and everything, but he was a real good amateur golfer, and he was a good young golfer. Well, he won the Troy tournament 3 years in a row and got to keep the trophy.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something recent. Let me tell you something recently about McClendon. And of course, he and KT Cole are very good friends here in Troy. And In fact, I think KT's a couple of his kids work for the same company that Mac McClendon worked for. But Mac McClendon's son came to Troy and went to school and graduated, and just a wonderful kid. Well, he came down with a rare illness and he died. And ever since, this has been 25, maybe 30 years ago, but ever since that day that he died, Mac McClendon and his family have started a scholarship in his son's name. And that scholarship has grown and grown and grown. I want to say 25 to 30 people have already reaped benefits from that scholarship. But that's just kind of man that Mac McClendon was. I mean, his son loved Troy, and Mac has repaid Troy for the how well they treated his son with these huge scholarships.
Well, I can remember Mac McClendon when I was growing up. he was the top golfer in Alabama, and he's about your age. He's probably a little older.
No, he's a little older. He's a little older.
I think he's about 72.
Yeah, that's right.
But
well, let me tell you this. I used to caddy a lot with that. It was an invitational tournament. It was the Chamber of Commerce sponsored it, and 1 year it came down to Mac McClendon, he was still in high school. Albert Elmore, the former great star football player at Alabama, and of course from Troy, and of course they worked for the State Farm for years and years. And then the other one was a coach from Ozark, Alabama. Three of them, Buddy Cranford. Three of them were in a playoff. And Cranford, like I said, was a coach from Ozark, but it ended up that they beat Cranford out, and then he and Albert Elmore played for the championship, and Mac McClendon beat him. But I want you to remind you that he was the head football coach at Ozark, and boy, what a golfer. Did you ever play with him?
I did. Now, I'll tell you something else. Mac, my daddy and I used to go to Pensacola, had a PGA tournament every year.
Yeah.
Back in the old days. I mean, it went way back in the 50s. Now, they quit having it about 10 or 15 years ago. But Mac McClendon won that tournament 1 year. And my daddy and I were there. I was in law school. I was in law school in Alabama, and we went to Pensacola, and Mac won the tournament. I don't know how many PGA tournaments he won. Now, he won one in Columbus one time. I remember that.
Yeah.
So he won several PGA tournaments.
Oh yeah, he did. He won that Pensacola tournament. I remember that. He won some more. Everybody loved Mac McClendon. Let me tell you, and of course he's become a multi-millionaire. He's a stockbroker, and just think how many clients he had that played on the tour. That made plenty of money. I'm sure he did. He was very successful. I know he lived out at Shoal Creek at one time. But let me just say this. Back then when there was invitational tournaments, there was a guy named Brown. Was it Fred? Not Fred Brown, but what was it?
Ed Brown.
Ed Brown was an old, I would say about 6'2", 6'3". Wasn't he pretty tall?
He's a real skinny guy.
Yeah, real skinny and real rugged looking guy, and always had a cigarette in his mouth and whatever. But he was one of the best amateur golfers in Montgomery. You remember that?
Now, there used to be a golf course in Montgomery, Woodley Country Club.
All right, now he didn't play at Woodley now. He played at...
I know, but what I'm going to tell you, he played at Bonnycrest.
All right, he played at Bonnycrest. And you know who came up?
All right, me and him tied for the lead.
This is at Bonnycrest, that flat course.
Yeah. Bonnycrest.
Or were y'all playing at Woodley? Were y'all playing at Woodley or Bonnycrest?
Woodley.
Okay, and that was the one near the mall, shopping mall.
That's right behind the old mall that's gone out of business for years.
That's right.
But anyway, we were playing, and the last round, I was maybe 17, 18 years old. and he was at least 40 then, so I'm sure he's passed away now. I'm not sure, but he was old then. Anyway, we tied after 54 holes, and they had a sudden death playoff. So we went to number 10 for the sudden death playoff, and he hit first. He knocked it out of bounds, and then just turned around and shook my hand and said, congratulations. He hit one shot.
That is and then back then, of course, you talk about Bonnie Crest Country Club. A little boy that was watching every move he made was a young man named Gardner. You remember Buddy Gardner, who played at Auburn and later on played on the tour, but he learned by watching and playing with Ed Brown.
Yeah.
And of course,
he was 2 years ahead of me.
Yeah, and of course he had two sisters that were beautiful, Ann and Jane Gardner, and like you said, they grew up right there off Federal Drive in Montgomery, and were real good amateur golfers. There's then the old man down at the bank, down at the First National Bank in Montgomery, who played out of the Montgomery Country Club, was a great amateur, with Moody. You remember him? The old man Moody. He was the bank president.
Can't remember his first.
Yeah, but you remember him though? He was an old man that could play.
Yeah.
And of course, Peanut Burke. You remember Peanut Burke?
I do. He played at Colonial Acres.
Yeah, that's right. He was one of these kids that played out at Colonial. And then, of course, one of the great ones out of Montgomery played out of the Jewish Country Club. What was his name? Lane Wallach. You remember Lane Wallach?
Lane Wallach, yeah.
He was another great one. It would back then invitational golf was huge in this part of the state. You remember the Montgomery Country Club would have their invitational every year. Selma would have their big 3-day invitational. You remember that?
Yeah, all of them would, yeah.
And you were a young golfer coming out of Ozark, and that's how you sort of built your reputation. I mean, it's true when I say this. Golfers had reputations, isn't that right?
Did you know Mike Griffin won the Montgomery Country Club one year?
No, I didn't. I didn't know that.
Guess who came in second?
Our buddy from Troy, Archer. What, it Archer? Or you?
No, me.
Buddy, you. I know people used to come from everywhere to play in that tournament.
I was 17 years old.
Yeah.
When he won it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, I tell you what, there was a young guy coming out of Opp, Alabama, named Craig Clemens. Did you play against Craig Clemens, or was he older than you?
I never have, but I've heard a lot of good things about him. Yeah.
Of course, Archer from Troy was really a good player. You remember him?
Oh, certainly.
And of course, now he won the Alabama. What's the top tournament in Alabama every year?
State amateur.
Yeah, the state amateur. He won it. I think it was a 54 hole. They cut it to 54 holes, and he won it. You remember that?
Yeah, he won Montgomery Country Club too.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And of course, he was a very good golfer out of Troy. And of course, his dad was the legendary golf basketball coach, John Archer. But boy, there was a lot of players though that came through. A good friend of mine that I went to school with at Troy was a real good amateur golfer. He was good anytime you played on Woodley Country Club, and it was John Jordan. Do you remember John Jordan?
I don't remember him.
John played that tournament real good, but of course everybody had good. Now, who was good in Dothan back then? Of course, I know you had the old man. J.H. Brennan was great, and Az Flowers was great. Yeah, Az Flowers, that's who I was thinking about.
Yeah, Morris Slingup was good. Tommy Williams was good. There's been a lot of good golfers.
But they didn't have near the dominance. So, Sam Robinson over in Eufaula, you remember Sam? That played with Troy. He was a good amateur golfer. And
Gary Garrison over there was good. He played at Alabama.
Warren Hanchy, you remember Warren Hanchy and Dave O'Neill? Those were two good ones right out of Troy.
Now, Warren Hanchy won Ozark twice.
Yeah. Yeah, he was really now. He could hit it a long ways. He was a long knocker. Yeah, and of course he was a played on Troy's golf team back then, which was real good. And of course it's fun to talk about old golfers that were good. Lou Verne always had some good ones, and Andalusia had Richard Anthony. You remember him?
All the Anthonys were good.
And of course,
Anthony, Bill Anthony, Richard Anthony.
That's right. And of course, Richard Jones, president of the bank in Birmingham, very successful. And guess where he came from? His family came from Troy. They were all his mother was a Henderson.
Yeah, he played at LSU too.
Yeah, that's right. He was a very good amateur golfer, and of course, they were. Like I said, a lot of these folks had reputations, and especially in Montgomery, but most all of them were because they had so many invitationals back then. Every golf course would have an invitational. Now, let me tell you this. I went by to visit my good friend Rusty Gibson, who's an attorney in Montgomery. In Tuscaloosa. Do you know Rusty from Troy? He works for that Phelps, Owens, Jones, and Jenkins, and he works for that firm. Are you familiar with that firm?
I am the firm, but not.
Yeah. All right. Now he lives right there on the what's the name of that golf course? Indian
Hills.
Indian what?
Indian Hills.
Yeah, Indian Hills, and he lives right on the 18th hole. That is a gorgeous golf course. Beautiful. Have you ever played that course?
Many times when I was in law school.
Yeah, but don't you agree that is a fabulous golf course?
It's a really tough course too.
And of course he lives there, and he doesn't play a lot of. He practices law most of the time, but he lives right there on the 18th green or the 18th fairway. But out of Tuscaloosa, I was trying to think of some players that were really good. There were a lot of good ones came out of Selma. You played against those guys, didn't you? Tommy Burns and
Stanley Burns.
Yeah.
Tommy Burns. Oh yeah.
And then I was trying to think of those Tuscaloosa folks, but they came from everywhere to play amateur golf in the state of Alabama. And even Steve Sloan, you remember him, the football coach at former Alabama quarterback. He was a pretty good amateur golfer. You remember him?
He was coaching at Vandy when I was at Vandy.
I know he was coaching football, but he was a pretty good golfer too, I think.
Very good golfer. Very good golfer.
I was, of course, it's fun to.
Hey, Mike, I've got to run. I'm at my office.
Okay, good. Now, I enjoyed the conversation.
Yes, sir.
Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, our show is brought to you by the Circle Insurance in Ozark. Sam and all the great folks there, and we appreciate the Circle Insurance being one of our longtime sponsors. Also, our good friends at Dixieland Dental, located 9 miles north of Dothan on Highway 231. Dr. Michael Precise, Dr. John Strength, Dr. Damon Strength, and Dr. Robert Precise make up one of the largest dental clinics in Alabama, and we appreciate them very much. Green Hills Funeral Home, I was with my good friend Benny Pinkard yesterday, and out at the eating a little food out at Half Shell. He was eating ice cold oysters, and I was eating some of those delicious potato logs that I love so much. And of course, we really had a good time talking about old Troy and all the great things about Troy. Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram, brand new dealership in Troy, Alabama. Of course, Jason Gregory and all the great folks there have a tremendous selection of cars and trucks to choose from right here on Highway 231. We appreciate them very much. We'll be back.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Now that shows we stand behind our work. And our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Here at Town & Country, we are proud to be an American.
We've had you covered on the inside since 2005, and with our addition of Southern Grill and Patio, we now have you covered on the outside. Come see our great selection, where we make sure grilling and relaxing go hand in hand.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Back to our show, and appreciate Hoss Daddy coming being on our show today. Brought to you by Sanders Truck Lines on the just off Highway 231 in Troy, and of course the K&W Plastics, Troy Sanders Lead. All of their companies are hiring new employees as we speak. So looking for a career. Whether it's driving a truck or working in the plastics plant or the lead plant, they've got some great job opportunities for you. So don't let somebody tell you that there's no jobs out there, because they're hiring good people right now at the Sanders companies. Want to congratulate our good friends at Pike Liberal Arts School. Coach Alan Ponder has his team playing for the 3A state championship this week. The games will be played at in Montgomery, and of course at Patterson Field, historic Patterson Field. Pike will play at 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning. Their first, this is a 2 out of 3 championship round. So if, of course, they need to get off to a good start, and it's going to be a great game between Glenwood 38-6. and Pike Liberal Arts 33-5 for the state championship in Montgomery, starting at 10 o'clock this Wednesday morning. Other games to be played in Class 2A, Autauga Academy 41-5 versus Montgomery East 37-8, and that game is at 3 p.m. on Tuesday. That's best 2 out of 3, and they'll play again on Wednesday if necessary. They'll probably play a double header first game, and then if they have they will play on Wednesday if they need to. Eastwood Christian out of I want to say out of Birmingham, they're 31-12. This is Class A versus Chambers Academy 19-12, and they'll play at 10 o'clock Tuesday morning. So that's how that schedule will run at Patterson Field, historic Patterson Field, one of the more beautiful places to play baseball in the country. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hi, morning.
Mike, I was talking about the Alabama Independent School State Championships, and Pike Liberal Arts plays one of the top programs in the state every year in, year out. Glenwood out of Phoenix City, and that all starts this Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's really early to play a baseball game, but I guess these kids, probably play at all kinds of different times through tournaments and stuff. So they'll play the best 2 out of 3, and possibility they could play, I guess, Thursday.
Yeah, that's right. It's a possibility. And I want to mention, too, Mike, the
last time Pike Lib won a state championship in baseball, they won one when the Avant kid was there,
yeah,
or have they not won one?
I think they did when Avant was there, and I know they've won at least one. They might have won more than that. I tell you what,
how long was Butch Austin there? I'm sure they won.
Oh yeah, he won a couple of. In fact, I don't know the whole history, but he at least won 1 or 2 state championships. Legendary coach Butch Austin was a great coach, and then they turned around, they hired this young coach. It didn't surprise you that Ponder would be a good coach, did it?
No, he's an impressive guy. Of course, his background as a player and
high in the world,
really look up to him.
How in the world does he go to Alabama and pitch for 2 years, then tore his arm up, and then transfers to Auburn Montgomery to play for legendary coach QV Lowe, and he's actually inducted into the AUM, the Auburn Montgomery Hall of Fame, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, that is a big deal.
I mean, in such a short period of time, so he must have just dominated when he played at AUM.
I mean, I know just talking from Michael Teixeira, of course, they're family now, but hearing stories back in the days of his private school days as a player, like he was like the athlete in private schools back when he played.
Mike,
baseball and football and everything.
They say just knocking around. One of the coaches was telling me this the other day, that he can shoot lights out. They said the guy said he'd never seen anybody shoot basketball like that, where he just turns around and just swish, swish, swish. I mean,
I talked to a coach at Highland Home the other day, and he said that he could hit a softball mile too.
I bet he could. He's big and strong.
A guy like that in a softball league might be against the rules.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. But I've heard
Troy's lucky to have him. I mean, it's a situation. Does he want to stay at Pike Liberal Arts, or does he want to get into, coaching a big, 5A, 6A, 7A, public school?
Let me tell you this. I think the sky.
Have some offers.
I think the sky's the limit on what this young man can do one day if he wants to. Right now we're lucky because he married a beautiful girl from Troy. And married one of those Ventress girls, and they look like models.
He married one of the Colley family.
Yeah, I know it, but those Ventress girls look like models,
I'm sure that'll make them feel good.
Well, they do. Of course, looking at the Alabama high school playoffs, and you look at this thing, and it says.
Anybody else local that's left?
Well. I was looking at it, and I was surprised that some of these big Birmingham schools who have dominated for so long were. Let's see. Here it is, right here.
You don't have Bessemer Academy; they're not still playing. Well, no, they would be playing against Pike. So I guess you only got 2 teams left from each division.
Yeah. Softball has got to be huge. There's going to be a tournament in Troy where they have 45 teams coming to Troy to play in the regions. And it's going to be a huge tournament. The regional sites are south at Gulf Shores, the south central at Troy, and the north central at Tuscaloosa, and the north at Huntsville. Girls softball, Mike, is huge in this state. Now, didn't you tell me that you rode by a place in Troy? You were going to the beach, and you said you thought it would be around 3,000 people there.
Yeah, but that was that was back in April when we were heading down there.
Yeah, I know it. That's what I'm saying.
So
just for a softball tournament.
Well, see, now you got travel ball leagues. I mean, you just got nonstop softball and baseball year round. It's just unbelievable. That's what I was telling my wife last night. I said I love sports growing up, but I mean I'll never be in a situation where I'm going to have my kids dictate what we can do in the summer months. I mean. They can play any kind of sport they want to play.
Yeah.
September through May. But after that, I mean, when I want to go to the beach or I want to go somewhere, we're going somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have these kids, chasing me all around the Southeast going to games. I'm not going to do it.
I agree.
They got to be a phenom or something. I've got to see something that's just like, they're going to be the greatest player of all time for me to commit to something like that. Because I'm not going to lie. Like I said it the other day. I mean, I don't know if half the guys I don't know. You had some guys that were gung ho football, but I tell you what, Richard Calhoun is the best football player I played with growing up, and I guarantee you, he wouldn't have wanted to play football if it was June through August up until September having to practice.
Yeah, I know it. It's unreal.
Shoot, we love the beach, and party and hang out on the beach and. I mean, I couldn't imagine having to commit to something like that.
Well, I will say this, and it makes all the sense in the world now. There's a huge jamboree coming to Troy that we're looking forward to that's sponsored by Troy Cable. It's going to have 15 teams coming in here, Mike, from all over, including Hoover out of Birmingham and some teams out of Florida and Georgia. It's going to be a great jamboree. But I'll tell you this. I would think since they now coaches can start coaching on the field with their team the second week of June, why in the world do you have spring practice?
Yeah, I agree with that too. I talked to Coach Minor the other day, Coach Abrams, who will do a really good job there. He came from Hoover, and they're not even playing a game. He said they're just working on fundamentals.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. It's
trying to establish, his technique and his philosophy to these guys. And he said he didn't want anything to do with playing the game.
Well, I don't think they can practice but 10 days, and then they're going to have this giant, and of course you can see them live right here on Troy Cable. But I think it's going to do away with spring practice one day before long. It's going to.
Well, I mean, it's just they start so late now. Back in the day, we would practice spring, I want to say, in March at the latest.
Mike, let me tell you who's dominating high school baseball right now. Of course, the 7A baseball tournament starts this week, and the Final Four, they're down to the Final Four for the right to come and play in Montgomery for the state championship next week. Smith Station is playing Auburn. They're located right next to each other, Mike, and I'm sure they probably played each other 5 or 6 times, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Smith Station 24-17, Auburn 31-7.
24-17. Boy, they must have had some guys hurt or playing good baseball late.
Yeah. All right, Hueytown 29-9 at Bob Jones. No, excuse me, not Hueytown. Huey-Trussville. Not Hueytown, but Hewitt-Trussville.
Hewitt-Trussville. Yeah.
Are they the team that's got the quarterback that's so good?
Yeah, they got the Tyson kid that's committed to Alabama, Bear Bryant's.
Does he pitch too?
Bear Bryant's great grandson.
Is he a pitcher in baseball too?
I really don't know. I doubt it.
In 6A, Hillcrest of Tuscaloosa, 26-11, playing Helena, another Birmingham school.
Yeah, Hillcrest is an old Wagner school. Wagner's Team Sports when I worked. We've been selling to them for years.
Hazel Green, 28-10 at Coleman.
Hazel Green's got a good athletic program.
They sure do. They're 6A, and of course they're located just north of Huntsville. I can remember when it was a country. Now Huntsville's grown so much that it's like, and of course they're playing Coleman, one of the great programs in Alabama, Mike, is Coleman High School.
Yeah, Troy, I would have to say one of their greatest accomplishments is they beat Coleman for the state championship that time.
They sure did. And they had on that Troy team, what was that old boy's name that was so good? Hit those home runs.
Van Horn?
Yeah, Van Horn. Boy, was he good in that tournament. I think he hit 2 or 3 home runs or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's when you knew Troy's program was pretty phenomenal back then. You had Levi Garrett as the coach, won the state championship. And then when you had Coach Irons come in, he won 2 state championships. And, it's amazing what those guys accomplished.
No question about it.
Of course, they're struggling right now, I mean, it's been a tough season for Charles Henderson baseball. I'm sure one they'd probably like to forget, but still a lot of good baseball players coming up in Troy, but a lot of them are at Applied Liberal Arts now. A lot of kids that whose dads played at Charles Henderson's kids are playing at Applied Liberal Arts.
No question. McWhorter, Jenwright, all those guys they played at. All of them played at Charles Henderson.
I will say the star pitcher, the Nelson kid's dad, did play at Applied Lib growing up.
He sure did. And boy, he's
Applied Lib legacy. So.
Yeah, no question about it. St. Paul's at Faith of Mobile. So those are two great Mobile teams. That's in 5A. Spring.
Yeah, Arrington got beat by St. Luke's, so they're out of it now.
St. Luke's has got a shortstop, Mike, that is been heavily recruited by the pros. I mean, he's probably going to be drafted by the pros. And you hear about these guys, and everybody says, how good is he? Well, all this guy did against that bunch from that you were talking about, Arrington, was hit 3 home runs. He had 3 home runs. He plays shortstop, and they say he's the best player in the state of Alabama. I want to mention before we get away from here, Mortimer Jordan is one of your schools, isn't he?
I've actually been by that school. I actually don't sell to them, but it's a really nice school north.
They're playing Springville at Mortimer Jordan.
Springville's right down the road from where I live too.
Or Russellville. I'm not positive who won that thing, but then Andalusia's got a good team. They're 26-4. Andalusia is playing Bibb County. Bibb County's always in it.
Andalusia's got a lot of athletes, a lot of good players. Their sports have been real competitive too.
Oh yeah, they have Aniana 23-10 at Holt's Bluff 25-5. Holt's Bluff's always good. How about 3A?
You got to go through the mountains to get to Holt's Bluff and Aniana.
Yeah, you sure do. And they're right there together, pretty close.
If you want to take a pretty drive, you go off the interstate. You turn to Asheville by Horse Fence 40, which is a big mountain of stone, all these huge boulders of stone. People come from all over the southeast to climb these boulders and rock climb and stuff up there.
Yeah, they have a big festival up there too.
Aniana is beautiful. That drive to go to Aniana off 59 heading to Gadsden.
No question about it. Locust Fort, Gordo. Boy, how good is Gordo and everything? They're 31-3 at Mobile Christian, 24-9.
Yeah, they won the state championship last year.
Locust Fort playing at Lauderdale County. And then Class 2A, St. Luke's playing, listen to this, at G.W. Long. Boy, you talking about a game. I might, Mike, if I'm in town, I might ride over there to see that game.
I'll tell you what, man, you're going to be having so much baseball this week. You got Pike Live, then you got Troy against Mississippi State.
These games played. I know these games though are played on Friday night. The public schools, I believe that's when they play.
I tell you what, Troy's stretch and getting back to college. I was looking at it last night. Boy, they got a rough schedule down the stretch. You got to win, beat Mississippi State, and then you're on the road for 3 more against La Monroe. And I'm sure that's not an easy trip to go to play in Monroe. And then you got to come back and you got to play Auburn at home. And then 3 games at home against South Alabama to finish up the season. I was hoping they could get to 40 wins. That's going to be pretty tough. I'm hoping now they can get to maybe 38, 37, and then win maybe 2 or 3. And hopefully that'll be enough to get them into the tournament. But I don't know if that will be.
In Class 1A, Mike, in the high school playoffs, just guess who they are. Who played? Yeah, 1A.
Sweetwater?
You hit it right on the dot. How good is Sweetwater? Every year, little town of Sweetwater always is in the tournament. They remind me so much of Maplesville, who are not in the baseball tournament this year, but Sweetwater and Long of Skipperville are about as good of athletic programs you're going to find.
These are the semifinals. They win, they'll go to Montgomery.
Yeah, that's right. And then next week, the big tournament, Mike, is, of course, it starts this week. The South, this will be in Troy. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to get ready. The regional sites are south. The South is at Gulf Shores. The South Central is at Troy. So the South Central region, let me find it real quick. The South Central region, well, I'm having troubles. South Central. Oh, I see it. The South Central Regionals will have, these are some teams that will be playing in there. Central of Phoenix City will be playing in Troy against Prattville. Enterprise will play against Smith Station. It's the Final Four, Mike. The winner goes to the championships in Montgomery next week. Also in the South Central, Hillcrest of Tuscaloosa will be coming here, Mike, versus Stanhope. Chelsea will be coming here versus Benjamin Russell. Wetumpka will be coming to Troy against Helena. All these Birmingham schools, Mike, you know they're going to be spending the night as best 2 out of 3. Chilton County versus Brookwood in Troy. Then you look at Class 5A in Troy, and that is Dallas County versus Beauregard, Moody versus Calera. All these Birmingham schools, Mike. Jemison versus Shelby County, and Valley versus Demopolis. So all of those folks are coming to Troy.
I tell you, Helena's really built strong programs. You know, they're just a brand new school.
Yeah.
They took a lot of the Pelham athletes, and you don't ever hear from Pelham pretty much ever since.
That's right. You know who's on chairman of the board of that Helena school district, don't you?
Well, the Pelham school district was Rick Rhodes. I don't know if that's who.
Oh, okay. Oh, he was Pelham. I'm sorry. All right.
But you know, he was the head coach at Pelham.
Yeah. Some other games teams coming to Troy this week is Oak Grove against Hopeful, Munford against Bibb County, Hale County against Hadley, and Tallahassee against Northside. In Class 3A, coming to Troy are Gordo and Prattville Christian, Indian Springs and Randolph County, Beulah and Fultondale, that's out of Birmingham, Montevallo versus American Christian, all coming to Troy. All right, and the 2A, Central of Hayneville versus George G.W. Long, Horseshoe Bend versus Goshen, Luverne, boy, this is be the ones everybody wants to watch, Luverne versus Reeltown, and Arrington versus Billingsley in the South Central region, Mike. And then finally in the Class 1A, the teams that are coming to Troy are Talladega County, Isabella, Heritage Christian, Wadley, Winterboro, Summerton, Maplesville, and Raglan. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 regions. All right, what I'm trying to do is this, Mike. All right, wait a minute. 2, 4, 6, 8. With 8 teams. Listen to this. This will stun you. There's going to be 56 teams coming to Troy, Alabama this week. 56 softball teams, Mike. And it's the best 2 out of 3.
So when they turn, I guess right there where the old Country's Barbecue is there, and make that right, I wonder if they have any clue how much more of that bypass is left.
I know it.
Places to go eat.
But Mike,
I can't imagine how packed Chick-fil-A will probably be next week.
Well, let me tell you another thing. Motels. All right.
Is it next week or this weekend?
It's this weekend. It starts this week. Let's see here. Let me tell you exactly. All right. First round pairings for the Alabama High School Regionals softball that begins Thursday. Starts Thursday, Mike. Each will use a double elimination bracket. The two teams, the top 2 teams qualify for the state tournament at Lagoon Park next week. But the big tournament.
I tell you what, if I owned Pinker's gas station, I'd be out there with a grill cooking hamburgers and hot dogs.
You're exactly right. And of course, you know, the rec department makes
and bowl peanuts. Well, I know they have great food out there, but I'm just saying, somebody could really make some money.
That's all I hear you talk about is boiled peanuts. Mike, I was eating some.
I'll be honest with you, man. I can't find boiled peanuts up here. I mean,
you
can't find like those little side road places boiled peanuts like you can down in South Alabama. Like you can find them at gas stations. But they're no good.
Exactly. Of course, we appreciate all of our sponsors so much for being so loyal to us here, and of course, like you said, Mike. Thank goodness Troy University will be out of school. Most of the dorms will be empty. Because finals end, I think, on Wednesday, and they'll use a lot of those dorm rooms to house some of these kids, and then the rest of the hotels will be packed. Just think of this now. 56 teams, all right? Let's say there's 20 people on each team. including the coaches and managers. All right, let's just say 20 on each team. All right, let me do some math here real quick. Yes, Miss McCullough, I did learn a little bit. That's 12. That's 10. All right, that's 1,100. Just the players alone, Mike, is 1,100 kids. Just the players and coaches alone, 1,100. Now let's say they bring their mama and their daddy, their brother and their sister, and their aunt and their uncles, just 2 sets. That'd be 6 more at 56, would be 333 more. And you add that, we're talking about a big crowd of folks. A big crowd of folks.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they'll have decent weather, and hopefully they'll bring a lot of to the economy of Troy and Pike County surrounding areas.
It is, of course. You have a big college football weekend, and but you know what? A lot of these folks are going to be spending at least 2 nights, and they're going to eat at our restaurants. They're going to buy gas. They're going to go to the shopping areas, and you know who reaps benefits of this too. Every time we have something in Troy, is Sights and Con Country Mall.
Yeah.
And then our Western Apparel place right here in Troy. All of our businesses will reap benefits from this tournament, no question about it.
Yeah, I'm sure they hope some people will go downtown to the square. I mean, there's a lot of new places downtown Troy, so it's one of those things where it's good for Troy University more than anything, I think, for these kids, especially if they're going to be staying on.
And our rec department will be, and there's going to be a lot of hard work for our rec department, but they'll hopefully reap benefits from it, because I'm sure each team probably had to pay a certain fee, something probably to play in the tournament. But it's just a huge event that's coming to Troy, Alabama this weekend, and I hope everybody will.
I'll tell you what, when you got that many people out there, it's got to be extremely long hours. I can't imagine when
some of the games go to
and when they end at night.
Hey, some of the games go to 2 and possibly 3 o'clock in the morning. Can you believe that? It's unreal. It really is. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed our show, and of course our sponsors. We appreciate them so much. All-Star Collision right here on Highway 231. Also Pike County Ford, my good friend Jeremy and all of the great folks at Pike County Ford. And of course, we appreciate all of our sponsors. Country Financial is one of our new sponsors. We appreciate them very much. And of course, we appreciate all of them.
They're another part of downtown Troy.
No question about it. No question about it. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a lot going on. And I'm going to have Dan Smith on this show tomorrow. And we're going to talk about logistics. You know what I mean by logistics, Mike?
Yeah, you're talking about as far as like
where you going to house them and where you going to park them.
All experience, the parking, yeah.
And like you said, some folks that want to make some money fundraising, I'm sure they could cook some hamburgers and hot dogs if they could get. I'm sure they had to get permission, but there are a lot of benefits people might be able to incur by supporting this program. Thank you so much.
I'll get over you.
All right, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day. We'll see you again at 1:30 right here on Channel 2 today in LA. Have a great day.